There's that funny old saying, there's three things guaranteed in life: death, taxes, and me taking a little bit of time off from work and something major happening. And normally it'll be in a situation where I'm unable to cover it. The topic in today's proceedings did happen 5 days ago, thereabout. Let's ignore that. The reason I couldn't cover it is because I was 1 hour into a 45-hour marathon journey back to Australia. Typical, I know, and I can only sincerely apologise. But Boeing has announced several fundamental leadership changes as it attempts to reshape its future and also respond to ongoing criticism. The changes unveiled on March the 25th saw Dave Calhoun, the current but also now outgoing CEO of Boeing, is set to step down as of the end of 2024. Before stepping down for the remainder of this calendar year, Calhoun will lead the manufacturer through arguably its most important year in company history. Although I feel like I say that quite a lot. Meanwhile, long-standing Boeing Commercial Airplanes president and CEO Stan Deal, a name you'll probably be all too familiar with if you keep up to date with aircraft orders, has announced his retirement effective immediately, with Stephanie Pope appointed in his place. Additionally, we saw independent board leader Larry Kalner announce his decision to no longer stand for re-election at the upcoming annual meeting. As for Calhoun, who has been under the most amount of pressure, he called the opportunity to serve Boeing the greatest privilege of my life. Still, with the world focusing intently on the manufacturer, Calhoun's departure is viewed as an essential move for the future integrity of the company. Problems at Boeing is where I want to head next. Boeing has long been in the headlines for the wrong reasons. Spurred on by a double incident involving brand new 737 MAX jets in 2018 and 2019 respectively, the ever-reputable Air Current perfectly outlined it by saying that Boeing has not recovered from this. These incidents at the time did have a lot of uncertainty around them, with many questioning how new aircraft could easily fall out of the sky. However, the following revelations that came highlighted poor business practices that were conducted at Boeing that really saw a focus on safety slip, and more a culture shift that meant profits became the sole focus, which when you're responsible for the safety of so many people isn't necessarily a good shift. 737 MAX jets were grounded following these two crashes, and Boeing was forced to change the popular series to ensure it could return to the skies safely. In addition, the manufacturer needed to rebuild its relationship with the flying public, customers, suppliers, and all other relevant parties. Since 2019, there have actually been several hiccups in the rebuilding process, with new problems being identified. There was a global pandemic to deal with, and several other external factors. However, mainly looking in from the outside, Boeing was putting forward an image that it was recovering, slowly but surely, and therefore, as a result, 2024 was earmarked as another crucial year for the plane maker to continue improving, rebuilding, and trying to close that gap that has extended, who, thanks to the faults at the manufacturer, have really been able to pull away in several sectors. So, remember, 2024 earmarked as another important year with several production increases planned as well. However, in the first week of January, any plan to continue its turnaround would collapse, with the plane maker undoing everything it said it had done across a multi-year period. In the first week of January, an Alaska Airlines 737 MAX would experience a door blowout shortly after departure. And while the aircraft would return safely to Portland without any severe injuries to those aboard, thankfully, it made headlines. And immediately after the incident, there were obvious concerns on how a door could so easily blow out. But I would argue there weren't necessarily just yet immediate pressing concerns about the integrity of the plane maker and the aircraft, for this could happen to any aircraft. That was what many believed. As a precautionary measure, the 737 777-379 was grounded, and airlines began to conduct preliminary inspections to determine what had gone wrong and whether this was a more widespread problem. During these preliminary inspections, loose bolts were found on many of the same aircraft type at other airlines. This problem only increased when it did become apparent that the door that blew out had been improperly reattached. Once more, Boeing and its suppliers were under pressure for allowing such a thing to happen again and again. Subsequent investigations into Boeing would go on with formal audits and much more. The situation very quickly spiraling out of control, and the manufacturer being placed once more back into despair. The FAA went as far as barring any production increases, and now we see key airline customers exploring alternatives away from Boeing as they battle with the new delays. What does this result in? A board under pressure. It quickly became apparent that 2024 was going to be a year to forget. So, what happened? Well, the focus shifted dramatically to the board, which have now failed on several occasions to follow through with their promises. And ultimately, with everything that has been revealed over the last, say, 5 to 10 years, there is a lot of negativity to those in highest roles, with the likes of whistleblowers, key employees, those retired, those who have dealt with Boeing and more, all speaking out at upper management. It was hard to imagine a scenario in which Boeing would seek to retain executives who were increasingly under pressure. Many welcome the announcement that now several executives are departing, but the thing is, it doesn't necessarily undo the years of failures, poor decisions, and many other issues. However, there's also an element to look at of not looking back. What's happened has happened, and for Boeing, they need to take every day, one day at a time, and move forward in a positive direction. Do they need to address what's happened in the past? Absolutely. But their recovery now is going to be essential, and key building blocks for that, no doubt, are making changes at a higher level. This could be viewed as a means to, say, instill a new culture that will once and for all put Boeing back where it needs to be. Now, this isn't just for itself as a company, but actually for the broader aviation industry. A couple of days ago, I took a look at Airbus's stance on the Boeing problems, and quite frankly, this isn't the first time we've heard from key executives at Airbus who have said that they're not happy with the problems at Boeing. Because, see, it doesn't just impact Boeing. It hurts all of the industry in different ways. And while a better Boeing will increase competition, remember, competition is healthy, and it will also lead to a better aviation landscape, and that is something we all should be striving for. But for that to happen, much change needs to happen at Boeing, and obviously some really key leadership changes that will see the CEO and many other roles changed is a step in the right direction, but I want to hear your thoughts. Do you believe the departure of Dave Calhoun, Stan Deal, and many others is going to be enough, or is this a far more deep-rooted problem? You can let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Thank you very much for your patience and your support. I do have to mention, if you've made it this far, that I'm back in Australia now, back in my proper office, so normal proceedings will formally resume. Take care, do be safe. I'll see you same place, same time tomorrow for your latest aviation recap.
And we'll fly.